Ooga, fucking Ooga, cunts. Welcome back to the best show on the internet, let alone the cunt stream, which is now the SnatchCast. I assume everybody's heard about that. But we have a brand new co-host with us, and you know him, you hate him. He's my twin brother.
You're being a little generous, aren't you? Greatest show on the internet?
No, because now you're on it.
Well, I mean, that goes without saying, but
Right.
I don't know. There's just only so far that my amazing talent can get us.
Well, we'll definitely get at least 2 more subs, because I know Mocha's going to watch now.
No, she's boycotting the SnatchCast. I mean, fuck, man. She quit her show just to get away from me.
Well, you're pretty hard to put up with. Trust me.
I'm such a douche.
I know. But we'll try at least for 2 hours tonight. We're going back to our roots, people. Pedophiles. So,
I fucking hate them.
Hate them. Hate the pedophiles. This one is an especially egregious one. Robert, do you know anything about Jared Fogle?
I remember this shit going down. I remember the Jared Fogle commercials, and then I remember hearing that he got busted with a bunch of shit on his computer.
Yeah,
and then I remember not hearing about him for a while after that.
That's about all I've heard about him too. Like, I had heard the story, but
I was kind of too young to really pay attention to the details to really
care. I was in college at the time.
Yeah, you know, you're 20, fucking, you're stupid. You're not paying attention to shit. I didn't pay attention to shit when I was 20.
Right. I watched a lot of movies, but I didn't pay attention to the news. So Jared Fogle, I did know. So this guy, born August 23rd, 1977, he was the spokesman for Subway for a long time.
Because he was a huge fucking fat sack of shit, and he lost some weight by eating only one thing day after day after day.
Yeah, but he also walked. To be fair, he also walked. I guess.
Yeah.
But
Subway took all the fucking credit for that shit.
Yes, they did. They definitely did. Well, so yeah, he was a big fatty fat person, and started eating Subway and walking to and from Subway twice a day, and only ate the stuff without mayo and like just turkey and some veggies in the bread, and he lost 200 pounds. And he had a buddy who wrote for like a newspaper and did like a little puff piece on him, and then sent the article to some corporate Subway office, and they got in touch with Jared, and they filmed a few commercials with him.
And the rest is history. Good night, folks. We'll see you next week. No,
there's a little bit more. A little bit more
yeah, just
story.
Okay, cool. I just say, I think all pedophiles should be fucking buried neck deep in boiling oil. So I don't know. I just said, God, they piss me off so much.
I mean, if you could argue the death penalty for anybody, I mean,
yeah, they're pretty much the worst of the worst.
Worst of the worst. But before we continue on, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Hi, Annie.
People are showing up.
Lionel's acting like we were late when we were not late. We were right on time.
I know. And we were fucking right on time, goddammit.
Right?
This is not the Lunatics. This show is punctual.
This is the cunt stream. And yeah, unlike the Lunatics, if we do start late, I like to pride myself on being on time. It's only a very little itty bitty bit late, at least on my show. So, well, now it's our show. I like that. Anyways, so yeah, started doing commercials, and he did them for 15 years. He filmed over 300 commercials with Subway.
He did a lot of them. I remember he was rocking it for a while. He
Yeah.
was riding on that fucking subway train for a good long time.
It was ridiculous. And you know what? To tell you the truth, I really liked Jared. I thought it was a great campaign when it first came out, you know?
Yeah, it's a nice little heartwarming success story.
And
Subway took credit for it. Well, before this, okay, this just started out that way.
and before all that shit happened, Jared Subway attributed Jared with quadrupling their profits, like while he was their spokesman. Like they never had a down quarter while he was their spokesman until the end. Obviously,
Yeah,
until the end, just hashtag not all.
and like there could, I bet Subway would have backed him if the charges were like anything else other than massive like pedophilia. I bet Subway's lawyers disappeared right fucking quick to back his ass up when this shit went down.
Yeah, fucking. I mean, that fall was quick. It was a quick fall.
If he's quadrupling their investments, Subway has a very like huge financial interest in keeping Jared Fogle's image squeaky clean and stuff like that. And if there were any other like even assault or something like that, you know, assault with a deadly weapon, the lawyers would have been behind him, fucking working to fucking minimize the damage, you know, keep him up for Subway. But the second second
not
fucking
after 15 years, because he was starting to. They had already started their $5 footlong campaign, and that was going really big. They had already started dropping off Jared commercials in favor of these $5 footlong commercials. So he was already starting to like.
Okay, he was already
get kind of replaced when this happened. So
well, still,
I mean,
it's still a hefty financial investment into Jared. I can still see the lawyers backing him up for almost anything else.
Well,
other than
that kind of comes into play a little bit later, actually.
Oh, does it? Oh,
Yeah.
Learn me, Mark. Learn me. Let's learn about the fucking downfall of this. You know how fat was he? This little fat fucking kitty diddler. Fuck
He
Jared
was over
Fogle.
300 pounds.
So
So
fat
let's see.
Oh my god.
You know, it doesn't say what his weight was before his diet, but they do say that he lost over 200 pounds on his diet.
And I'm sorry. Now that it's happened, you look at his face and you're like, "How the fuck did I not know?"
Right?
Look at Jared's face. He's like the epitome of just like the sinister pedo that's lurking in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, so when they first ran the first ads with Jared and this campaign, they ran a disclaimer at the bottom in tiny little letters saying, the Subway diet combined with a lot of walking worked for Jared. We're not saying this is for everyone. You should check with your doctor before starting any diet program. But it worked for Jared.
Fine print.
And that aired on January 1st, 2000. So Jared, you know, started at the very beginning of the millennium. It's creepy.
Yeah, that's
a little creepy. That sounds a little biblical.
Benchmark I'd be looking for, you know. That's not the benchmark of the millennium I was looking for. But thanks, appreciate it.
Well, I mean, it sounds a little biblical when you think about it. When you know, like everybody was scared of Y2K, but really they were worried about Jared touching kids.
How's it going,
that's what I'm worried about. What's up, Semaj? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, Semaj?
I'm doing all right. I'm tired as fuck and pissed off as well, but besides that, I'm all good.
Why are you pissed off? Good for the same reason I'm pissed off.
Probably not.
You're forced to think about pedophiles.
No, I actually didn't know that's what we were talking about, but that's good. I'll focus off my sore feet. But yeah,
Release your rage upon those who deserve it. Those who molest
We're
the
gonna make
kids.
Robert rage by the end of this because we got some disturbing shit to go through.
Oh, fuck.
Dude, Robert, I mean, dude, you don't even know, I guess. We got some text messages. We got some audio recordings. There's some shit.
And all this is around the subway guy?
Yeah,
All this
Jared.
around the subway guy.
There's a surprising amount of shit I was not aware of.
See, so I know of him mostly, or of all this, because South Park kept using him in their cartoons as the creepy pedophile.
He was in the new game. He was one of the bad guy bosses. Oh god, that was fucking hilarious.
In what?
Yeah.
In the new South Park game, the
Oh yeah.
Butthole.
Yeah. And they did a whole episode on him called Jared Has AIDS. And that was in 2002.
I want to give everyone AIDS.
Right? Everyone should have AIDS.
That's a
But
terrible.
man, if they had gone the pedophile route with that, I would call them fucking Nostradamus.
Oh, I don't know if they even knew. I have curiosity. I know that we're just starting on this, or at least I'm assuming you're just starting on all this.
Uh-huh.
Was he ever like convicted and sent to jail?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh
Good.
yes.
See, because I remember hearing about it, but I never paid attention to it because I think at that point I stopped caring about what was going on in the world.
He has actually been in the news the past couple of months.
And it is fucking hilarious. But we'll get there.
Okay, good. I am curious about that.
Oh yes, it is fun. Like actually, the newest news about Jared Fogle might be the funniest shit of all time.
American Phoenix in the chat says a lot of kids grew up watching him on TV, and he grew up watching kids.
Yes, he did.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
No pedo puns.
So in 2008, he went on tour called the Tour de Pants. If anybody remembers those commercials, they had the big subway bus with his face on it that was driving around, and he'd do like events and hold up his fucking giant pair of pants.
Yeah, I remember that shit.
I've definitely his 62-inch pairs of pants. How fat do you have to be to wear 62-inch pair? I mean, I wear
over 300.
I wear 22-inch pair of pants. That dude is 4 of me and a dead baby. He's fatty.
4 of you and a dead baby. That's some interesting lingo there.
It is a Louis C.K. reference a little bit. But so he appeared in the WWE. I could not find any clips of that, but I looked. But I might not have typed in the wrong thing. I was looking at more important stuff about him than his WWE clips. And he was also in Sharknado 2. The second one. That's literally the title.
He was in 2 and 3. He made a cameo in the second and the third one.
Yes,
and from what I understand, he got busted like 2 months after Sharknado 3 aired.
No, actually, a week before the premiere, his house got raided by the FBI. So the scene with his cameo and it got cut.
Oh,
it was never broadcast.
Probably a good decision.
Probably a good decision. The FBI raided his house a week before that aired. But he was in the second one, and that's literally the title of the movie. And by the way, chat, if none of you have seen the Sharknado movies, they're kind of okay. But the third Sharknado movie, the last 20 minutes of that movie might be the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I know I'm going a little bit off the rails, but it is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen put to film in my life.
That praise is too high.
Jaw drop.
And yourself. Too much praise. Too much praise.
Oh,
he is absolutely.
Your jaw will drop. It's one of those times when you can't understand what you're watching. Like, how the fuck did somebody put this to film? It's the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life.
Well, to be fair, I mean, those movies were being done by a company that makes really, really, really cheap movies, and they get some bad acting, but it's kind of done on purpose.
Oh, it's totally done on purpose.
I mean,
But you know
just
those
imagine
t-shirts-
David Hasselhoff fist fighting sharks in space.
Like, look, what really turned me off to these movies was fucking Netflix. All right, you pay out for your money to try and get at least some entertainment out of there, and Netflix at that time was just filled with these bad straight to DVD movies, and a lot of these were like,
man.
you see, a lot of people really love them. Look, I could tolerate them every now and then, but it was like literally the only thing you could watch.
I'm asking Semaj, have you seen Sharknado 3?
No, I saw Sharknado 1 and 2.
Okay. Please,
The third one is magical.
watch one more. You don't even watch the rest of them, but you have to see the third one. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
I got the gimmick with the first one. Why should I? All right,
Dude,
fine.
but it's not about the gimmick. Like, the gimmick is good in the third one. It's literally about what happens, like the plot line at the end of this movie. It is the most amazing thing.
And what they put
seen in my
on,
life.
like what they put in front of you on the screen is just like, oh my god! You know those T-shirts that's like a T-Rex shooting lasers with a fucking bear with a machine gun riding him and shit like that? That is the movie equivalent of that T-shirt. Fucking
It really is awe-inspiring. I was exactly where you were. I watched Sharknado 1 and 2, and I was exactly where you were. Like, I wasn't watching them anymore. And Robert Nanny kept begging me to watch the third one, and I watched the third one. And now I'm telling you, you have to watch the third one, dude.
I don't know. I already got what I needed with the first two. Maybe if I feel
Dude, I'm
like
telling
it.
you didn't know you needed this until you see it.
All right. If it doesn't,
I'm not even saying all of them. Watch all of them. I'm saying watch the third one.
okay. All right. Fine. Tell you what, I will watch the third one. If it doesn't knock my socks off, I'm going to call you out on that.
Okay, I will be accepting your apology right after you will watch this movie.
My apology. How you going to reimburse me for the hour and a half it's going to cost me? How are you going to reimburse my time?
Worth every second. I would sit through all 6 Sharknado movies just if the end was this.
It definitely peaks at the end of the third one. The Sharknado movie.
We'll see.
It's fucking amazing.
Well, all right. Tell you what, I will do it. I swear to God,
I promise
it doesn't,
you'll be entertained like a motherfucker. It is about the most entertaining thing of all time.
I'm going to hold you up to that. All right, I'll hold you up to
I'm
that.
not going to argue that it isn't bad, but it's the most amazing bad you've ever seen. Ever.
It's Sharknado. It better be bad. Schmeckle, he's there?
Yeah, Schmeckle's around. No, okay, yeah, let's go back to
hold on. Before you go back, Schmeckle, did you set up Nightbot yet?
No.
I haven't seen Nightbot.
No, I have not. That's why I'm not seeing the link and telling people to subscribe. I should be fucking seeing it every couple of minutes.
Like and subscribe. Smash that Blackman button.
Exactly. I rate Bears in the chat. Hey, how you doing there, man? Let me guess.
Man,
You'll give us a shout out if I make you art. Is that what you're here to say? Are you here to blackmail me? Not well, I guess.
Irate Bear actually gave us a shout out in his last video.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. All right.
So now you owe him art, Semaj.
Ah! All right. I'll
He's already paid for it.
Yeah. You didn't have to, but I guess. I'll return the favor. All right. Anyway, back to it. What has this pedophile fucking done?
Okay, so it all started with the Jared Foundation. If somebody, take it from Trump and the Clintons, if somebody starts a foundation and names it after themselves, it's leading nowhere good.
Did he name it after himself, or was he?
Yes, it's called the Jared Foundation.
I was gonna say, or is it more like it was suggested to him to do it by the Subway, because it's like name recognition.
Oh no, this has nothing to do with Subway.
Okay.
Jared Fogle himself in 2004 started the Jared Foundation. Maybe Subway helped them start it or something, helped them with the business part of it or something, getting it started. but it's a nonprofit focused on raising awareness about childhood obesity. And I seem to remember commercials mentioning Subway commercials, at least talking about the Jared Foundation.
I remember the Jared Foundation. Totally. For little fatties.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Well, I remember hearing about that. That there was, wasn't there like an obesity crisis back then? Probably still is.
Yeah, I don't think that's gone away. People have just ignored it.
Well, he was helping with it, and then he got arrested for child porn, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck it, I need a pizza."
Okay,
Fucking
all right.
Jared
Yeah,
just
fair enough.
betrayed me.
I know. I was losing all this weight, and then this shit with Jared just hit the fan, and now I'm just stress eating all day long.
All right. Well, it also, on October 14th, 2001, he married his first wife, Elizabeth Christie, a pediatric nurse. God, that's disturbing. Okay. And then they divorced on October 18th, 2007. So 6 years later. And then 2 years later, he became engaged to Kathleen McLaughlin, and she was a teacher. God, he just can't help himself. His life revolves around, like, even his cover marriages were fucking like, well, do you work with kids? Because that's a must.
This is getting worse and worse and worse.
Oh, he's also in the worst movie of all time, Jack and Jill.
Oh, isn't that Adam Sandler movie?
Did that come out before all this shit went down?
Yeah, that was 2011.
Fuck. That movie, from what I heard, that movie is just terrible.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's fucking awful.
I believe it.
Okay, so we have he started the Jared Fogle Foundation in 2004. The focused on raising awareness about childhood obesity. So I just want to leave that there. Everybody remember the Jared Foundation, because we will be coming back to it. But we got just a few things to go over in between when the whole thing with the Jared Foundation happened. So there was this reporter. She's not a reporter anymore, but at the time there was this reporter that I guess was doing a story on Jared, and something that he said threw up a little red flag for her. Because I guess, he specifically was going on tours around the schools. If you guys don't remember at this time, at the same time, Subway was really pushing to get their food into fucking schools.
I remember that. We had fucking Subway in our high school.
We did have a Subway in our high school. Did you guys have a Subway in your high school?
No.
We didn't have a Subway, but you could get Subway sandwiches at our high school.
Yeah, you could get slices of Pizza Hut or like ham or turkey Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, we had nothing like that. I went to a poor school.
Yeah, my school didn't have anything like that either. Our schools didn't have like restaurants. We had cafeterias.
No, we had a cafeteria too. It was just this food was available in the cafeteria.
Yeah, no, ours didn't have it.
Like, yeah, it's not like we didn't have restaurants in the fucking school, or like, it was a fucking school. It had a high school cafeteria, but yeah, you could get Pizza Hut delivered for lunch, and so did Subway, and so
they delivered. Okay, yeah, we had that.
We had that available to eat for lunch.
No, they come and deliver, and they deliver the school like 40 cheese pizzas and 40 pepperoni pizzas, and then they'd stick them out for students to have, and then you'd have to pay for the slices. The school charged like $4 a slice or something.
Oh yeah, I think we had something like that in public school. I don't remember anything like that in high
Subway
school.
Sandwiches and shit. And yes, Lionel Valentine is asking, the fuck kind of high school did we go to? We actually went to a very, very good high school. Like, I know high schools usually suck ass, but we went to a very well-funded high school in a very good part of the country. And it didn't really pay off because now it's on the internet.
Well, look at what you're doing now. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's funny. I actually
live up to our potential.
But so yes, at the time, Subway was really pushing to get their food in schools. I think eventually some national health thing was signed into law that they couldn't sell stuff like that in schools anymore. Like it had to be like healthy options, and you couldn't corporatize school lunches like that. But I know for a while they were really pushing that shit.
Okay.
So Jared was going on tour to all these schools. This was also during his pants tour, like tour to pants.
Yeah, yeah.
He was going to a lot of schools and like promoting, you know,
Mark,
trying to prevent childhood obesity and shit. You know.
What about the reporter?
So that's where this reporter met him. Was him going around to all these schools. She was doing a story on him because of his charity work, air quotes. And a little red flag came up. So what she did is she befriended Jared. And over the next 5 years...
What was the little red flag?
Just some, like, comment he made about one of the girls.
So we don't know. We don't know what yeah, because I like. I'm sorry, Jared. Jared already looks like a pedo.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what like red flag fucking tipped her off, because she's a goddamn American hero.
She actually is, dude. So she befriends Jared, and over the next 4 years records tons of conversations between him and her. And towards the end, after years of trust, he starts talking, like starts asking her for favors, stuff like that. One of the worst things. So this woman has 2 teenage daughters. Well, at the time they were like 6 and 10. And one of the recordings is Jared asking about them and then asking if he can put a camera in their room. 6 and 10.
Whew.
On his own daughters. Oh.
Yes.
The rage is bubbling.
So hold on. This reporter, where's her name? I know her name, but I can't remember her name. So let me just... But, so she spent over 4 years recording this shit and then took it to the FBI. Let's see. So, okay, that's what, let's see, not Cindy Mills. Cindy Mills was someone else. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I cannot find her name. Pratt. There it is. Tanya Walton Pratt. Oh, no, that's the judge. I'm getting all these damn names confused. Sorry, everybody. I'll find her name.
It's Michelle Herman Walrond.
Quite possibly.
No, it is. It's not possible. I'm reading it as we speak.
So that's her name. But, yeah, took it to the feds, and they couldn't actually pursue a case against Jared because I don't know if anybody watches internet shows of like the amateur versions of How to Catch a Predator and shit that Cogs likes to air. But it is true that whatever information they collect can be used, but it's not enough for a conviction. There's a specific set of guidelines for the evidence needed for a conviction. And having someone record conversations with another person does not meet that specific set of guidelines. It's good evidence and it can be used, but it's not enough to get a conviction.
Okay.
So they couldn't do anything about it. but they had all this evidence from this.
That's not enough to get like a warrant?
Well, I think they might have tried to do it. I'm looking at it. I'm reading 4 different stories about it at the same time.
Well, pick one.
Well, I don't want to, like, if you just let me be vague about it, I can just tell you, yes, they fucking had all this evidence, but it wasn't enough for a conviction. If you want more details than that, you'll have to give me a couple of seconds. But in the long run, it didn't really matter. So they were looking into Jared. That was the point. They were looking strong into Jared. Then the foundation happened. So the foundation started getting looked into because of money fraud. They weren't, there was all sorts of shit going on. They spent $73,000 a year, only $73,000 a year. The majority of that figure was to pay for the salary of the executive director. A quarter of the funds were unaccounted for in tax records. And so they started getting investigated because they weren't using funds issued for the purpose that it was stated for.
Yeah, I would think so.
The foundation's executive director, boom, all of a sudden gets arrested for child pornography.
Where the fuck was the money going, Jared?
Yeah.
Where's the money, Jared? But I'm trying to find his name too. I have these names right here. But let's see. So yeah.
Let's see. So yeah.
Fogle first came to the attention of law enforcement in 2007 when that reporter told police that he had made comments to middle-aged school girls at a health event she was covering for a local news station. So that was the comment. So she befriended Fogle and then made recordings over the next 4 years. Which was really kind of crazy. Talk about kind of like an undercover operation.
It was real fucking journalism.
Suspected pedophile. And nobody suspected him. Nobody. Except for her. And that's where the subway cover-up a little bit comes into play. Because reportedly, this woman had given evidence to Subway on several different occasions about Jared, and Subway's response was that Jared isn't an employee of Subway.
Our main spokesperson, the face that represents us.
He is the main, like, how many commercials did you say he was in?
Over 300.
He is
for
absolutely
fuck's sake.
The spokesman representative. You better make sure that motherfucker is squeaky clean. That's why most people use fictional characters as their representatives. Most companies, like KFC, has the Colonel, which isn't an actual person.
That is a good point. That is a very good point.
Like,
Jared's a guy that never should have been famous in the first place.
Or something like the Taco Bell dog. Something that couldn't possibly have any chance of a scandal.
Well, I mean, look at all the mascots that are out there for kids, like for the breakfast cereal. You got Toucan Sam, you got Tony the Tiger, you got the Rice Krispie Elves. I mean, these are just fictional characters that you use as your mascots.
And you know what? None of them look at child porn.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have my suspicions about Toucan Sam.
Yeah, he does kind of seem a little, let's say,
those little toucans are his nephews, but I'm not so fucking sure.
Or who knows? Maybe they had to be careful because maybe we're getting too close to the furry fandom with all the animals and all that. Count Chocula is the only safe one.
That's what took down Tony the Tiger. He got gang raped at FurryCon in 2016. He's never been the same since.
Can we get an F in the chat for Tony?
Well, did you ever see those? There was a series of fan-made commercials for Tony the Tiger as he was trying to make a comeback in his like golden years, if you will. but he's no good at it. And all the kids that he inspired to eat all of his cereal all ended up being really twisted, like prostitutes, and ended up being murderers and all that. But he's trying to do the ad. It's like, they're great. Oh, you killed someone, didn't you? I think they made like 3 videos. They were really well done. But then I think, who was it, Kellogg's or whoever came in and just said, no, you guys stop this. You stop this right now. Even though their stock increased because of the ads and people loved it, no, you stop. Which I guess makes sense.
It makes sense because you want your mascot to look good, not to be a pedophile.
Well, yeah, going back
to you have a choice.
I'll take the pathetic tiger over the pedo any day.
Does Wheaties even put fucking sports stars on their cover of their box anymore?
I think they do, but I think that's mostly an American thing.
Yeah,
but also if say a sports star on the cover of Wheaties gets into a scandal, they just switch to the next fucking sports star.
Yeah. They say, "Oh, hey, we regret doing that one box with him."
Yeah,
right.
That is.
Oh, dude. So getting to the arrest, he was arrested on July 7th, 2015. The FBI raided his home and seized computers and other electronic equipment were removed from it. The same day, a spokesperson for Subway announced that the company and Fogle had mutually agreed to suspend their business relationship. Subsequently, Subway removed all reference to Fogle from its website. I want to point out, however, that they did not stop airing Jared Fogle commercials.
Okay, so he wasn't on the website, which I guess made it like slightly harder to type Subway Jared Fogle and then get their website, but they're still showing the fucking commercials.
He's only famous because of Subway.
Well, it could also
he's inextricably linked to Subway.
It's a little hard to not think Subway and think Jared Fogle. I know they tried to do a mascot with some sort of dancing monkey. No one really remembers that guy.
Still seemed too rapey after the whole Jared thing.
Is that the inspiration behind Rape Victim Monkey?
No, Christ.
Schmeckle was that monkey. Schmeckle would have been the next face of Subway. It would have been amazing.
So you guys know the Tom Segura story about him and Jared? You guys know that stand-up comedian Tom Segura?
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him, no.
He's got a bunch of Netflix specials up right now and shit. He's actually kind of funny. If you YouTube him, he's got this great story about him going on a field trip to Russia and ending up like hanging out with Russian mob and shit. Pretty fucking good. He's a good comedian, but he has this story about getting hired by Subway during this was 2010, 2011. This was years before Jared got busted. But what they wanted to do was Jared always promoted the healthy subs, like the turkey sub and stuff. And they wanted to bring someone in as Jared's brother, who was kind of like a fat slob, but funny, endearing, so that to advertise, like Jared be like, "Oh, I eat the turkey sub," and his brother would be like, "I get the chicken parm," some shit like that. So they end up hiring Tom Segura, and he ends up filming 3 commercials with Jared. And
Lionel Valentine is saying that's Bert Kreischer, not Tom Segura.
That's who?
Bert Kreischer.
No, I'm talking about Tom Segura. I don't think he knows about the story I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's coming from a comedian. I don't know how reliable the story is.
It's Tom Segura I'm talking about. Bert Kreischer is the machine. Yes, that's the story I'm talking about. So it's a different comedian than the Russian story, but Tom Segura is pretty funny. I do like Tom Segura. I got my comedians mixed up, but Tom Segura is the one I'm talking about with this Subway thing. So we filmed 3 commercials with Jared, and then all of a sudden, a new advertising like executive. They fire the old advertising executive and get a new one. And all the projects that the old advertising executive were working on were tossed in the garbage. So Tom Segura got paid for his work, but none of the commercials aired. And he said he was really angry about it at the time, and which is awesome because I would have been too. But then you look back nowadays and you're gonna be like, that is the best move. That is the best
fucking Christ that happened.
Taken. He would be constantly known as Jared Fogle's brother. And that would be horrible. And he has a good story about how they named him too, but that's beside the point.
Dodged the bullet there. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I want to move on to some of the texts and stuff. After they arrested Fogle, the FBI subpoenaed a series of text messages made between Fogle and a Subway franchisee named Cindy Mills, who he was banging.
And this was while he was married?
This is while he was married, yes. So while he was married to this chick McLaughlin, he was banging this other chick who owned a Subway named Cindy Mills. And so they got the text messages between those two, and Fogle has messages talking about sexually abusing children ranging from 9 to 16. Fogle telling Cindy to sell herself for sex on Craigslist, asking her to arrange sex with her 16-year-old cousin.
What the fuck?
That is bad.
Yeah, so I guess it was Cindy Mills that had reported Fogle's conduct to Subway, the Subway representatives. And at least that's what Mills' lawyer said, is that they alerted Subway's corporate management about the text messages. But they had responded that because Fogle was not a Subway employee, there was no violation. Subway representatives said they had no record of Mills' allegations. So Subway says they never received a complaint. Of course they did.
Okay,
on August 19th.
Fuck Subway.
Yeah, you know what?
That's enough.
I prefer Subway to Mr. Sub, but fuck Subway. No, I'm still gonna eat Subway because it's objectively better tasting.
I mean, $5 footlong. You can't beat that shit.
I will say this though, I sort of stopped eating at Subway when I heard about they consider it a rumor, but from what I've heard, it's actually true that their eating that they have with chicken is like 60% soy products. And I'm like, soy? That's what lowers your testosterone and gives you breast cancer, isn't it? If you're a guy, yeah, I'm not touching that.
I don't think the whole soy thing is real, but
that's a good question. I actually never looked into it. It's been a rumor, or it's been a thing that's been going around for quite a while.
But I mean, if I order fucking chicken, I want fucking chicken.
Fair enough.
I don't want fucking soy.
Although I will say, you can have chicken at home and then try out the Subway chicken. It's pretty different. They're obviously doing something with it.
I always figured they were just better cooks than me.
Well, I mean that could be too. I mean, tell your missus to cook one up, and then we'll see.
There we go. I'll have her make me a sub.
There you go.
She'll enjoy me asking that.
I mean, you don't tell her bitch, go make me a sandwich?
Oh, I do. I wasn't being sarcastic. She'll enjoy that.
Okay, good.
I just can't believe that fucking. You'd think Subway would know better. I didn't associate them with Jared, with Jared Fogle in any way, because I don't think that if Jared Fogle does something that looks bad on Subway just because he's the spokesperson, but if they go out of their way to suppress and deny evidence of pedophilia, then what the fuck, Subway? God damn. You get the second there is a hint of pedophilia, you get out ahead of that and be like, nope, we're cutting all ties. Thank you very much. And we're not doing any more Subway commercials with Jared.
Jimmy,
Yes.
the thumbnail for this stream needs to be Jared and Subway hugging it out.
Oh.
And make Subway child-sized.
This is a child portion sub.
With little kid clothes on and shit.
Oh, gross. Oh. Yeah.
Okay, so just a heads up, I linked some of the text messages in our chat. If you guys want to go pull those up,
Right,
you can read through those.
Oh yeah, I asked Opal to come on and she passed.
Ah, Opal, you don't want to read pedophiles' text messages anymore. She was so talented.
I remember the time when Opal would just jump at a link like nobody's business. Now she's all like, "Why do you want me on there, guys?"
You didn't even have to ask her; just send her the link, and she's there 20 seconds later.
All right, so these are messages he's sent to prostitutes. And it says before it gets to them, according to prosecutors, Fogle had a pattern. He found adult escorts through the internet, developed relationships with them, and offered them finder's fees to provide him with access to minors for commercial sex. So he comes in. It's Jay again. It was good seeing you at Harris. I'm horny again. Is your Asian friend available? Here, let me pull this up.
Semaj, do your best Opal voice and say the next one.
No, I'm not.
Jimmy, you're the only one here who can do a proper Opal voice.
I can't. I'm not reading nothing. Dyslexic, remember?
Oh, fuck, right. Yeah, Jimmy can't read.
I can read. I just can't read well.
All right. All right. Are you going to pay me too, or can I come back? Smiley wink.
All right, let's see. Present this to everyone. All right.
Yes, there we go.
I can pay you a little finder's fee. I'll pay you big for a 14 or 15-year-old.
Shit. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but shit.
I
think that's like a break between like time or something, because
okay.
Then he says he just landed and he wouldn't have his phone on the plane, right?
Yeah.
I just landed in Vegas.
How was your flight, honey?
It was good. Did you find me some young girls or boys? Oh, both. He wanted both.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck. He's non-discriminating. Non-discriminating.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, and they have to prove their age too. I have to know that they're fucking.
Yeah. No,
oh, depends on it.
13-year-old boy is 13.
Prove their age if they can, and you get me 16 or below, I'll give you 400. Jesus Christ, Jared. Even prostitutes aren't that. Actually, the prostitutes are probably that fucked up.
I told you this shit was fucked up, man.
Oh my god, dude, I'm fucking raging right now.
You know what, Rob? Rob, you get to be the pedo now.
No.
It's uncomfortable.
Rob gets to read the part of Jared.
Ask your brother to get children for you.
So I have a proposition for you, and it's something I would pay you very well if you were able to help. Okay, what is it? Let me know. Oh, no, that's somebody
Okay,
else.
what is it? Let me know.
Do you have any access to young girls, like 15 or 16? Oh,
Why,
I feel
baby?
so fucking dirty just saying that. I swear that's not me, FBI.
Say the next line, Rob.
Why,
Say the
baby?
next line.
Why, baby?
I just said why,
what
baby.
I
You
crave.
never-
I would have
Say it.
said nicely if you did. Oh, I can't believe I just fucking said that. Fuck you, Schmeckle.
How
Fuck
much?
you, right?
Because I have a cousin who is 15.
What does she look like? If she's good looking, I would give you 300 and her the same. Oh, God, I feel fucking no amount of showers will clean me off. I fucking hate you. I'm going to go scrub myself fucking raw and I still won't feel clean. Jesus Christ.
Just below that is also the entire court. I know it's boring, but it's the entire court briefing.
Yeah, it's 42 pages. I don't think we can go through all that right now.
No, definitely not. But
Another
so
issue
that's
after that.
Oh my god.
so,
Okay.
let's see here. I got some more stuff to share.
If you must.
Oh, 1 second. There is a little bit of good news in this article. Fogle, 38, is currently serving his sentence at the Englewood Federal Correctional Institution in Colorado. He was left beaten and bloodied after a fellow inmate, Stephen Nigg, attacked him in the prison's yard earlier this year. Nigg, through his family, said Fogle had been using his money to pay for protection and for extra food.
I was building up to that because that name is too gold to just throw out there. What was his name again?
That
he
name
got beat
was
up by a who?
Stephen Nigg. Stephen Nigg.
Oh, so a Nig beat him up.
A Nigg did beat him up.
Nig beat him up in prison. Oh my god. Oh my god. You can't just throw a name like that out there. And you got to build up to a name like that. Stephen Nigg kicked his ass in prison. Yes. Yes, Jared Fogle got the shit kicked out of him. You know what's even better is I saw an interview with Stephen Nigg's brother. And Stephen Nigg's brother looks exactly like Brockus. I'm telling you, it's fucked up. It's like Brockus if he was nice. It was like kind of like if Brockus and Boogie had a baby.
Just let that thought
Maybe it
fester
is
for a
Brockus.
second.
If I must.
Would you call them Broogies?
Brokies? Bookies. Boogers.
Whatever
Okay.
you call them. Keep them away from Jared. And Subway. Just keep your kids out of Subway.
So
Yeah.
can you screen share that other thing I just sent you?
Yeah, let me see. Oh, more text. Awesome.
That's what we all love.
Oh god. I'm no longer the pedo. Semaj can be the pedo now.
I told you I'm not reading anything.
It's Semaj's turn to pedo it up.
I told you I can't read it.
Okay, I found the one with Jared. I was wondering what the fuck this was all
I
about.
forgot Semaj can't read.
So not that I can't. I just don't do it well.
He
Okay.
can't read.
Oh, fuck you.
So
It's nothing to be ashamed of, buddy. Okay, it is something to absolutely be ashamed of. But we don't judge you. Okay, wait, we do judge you. But you know, you don't really have to read shit these days to get by. Maybe.
Maybe. No.
This is a text message between Jared Fogle and Robert. What was the name? Some quarterback, Robert Griffin III. They both got fired from Subway, or I guess he got fired from Subway as a spokesperson for Subway the same month that this happened to Jared. So Jared texts him. I'll do the pedophile voice. How about that, Robert? So you don't lose your shit.
Yeah, you can be the pedo.
Sup, bro? Sounds like we're both having kind of a shitty month, huh?
You're literally the last person I wanted to talk to right now.
Tough break for subs, right? That's my pet name for Subway. What do you think? Losing their two most talented, cool spokespeople in 1 month.
Dude, I didn't lose my endorsement, and you were never cool. Ever.
That hurts, man. I thought we were footlong bros. Robert. This is so creepy that it's your name, dude.
How has this conversation continued to get creepier? How is that possible? And that wasn't me talking. That's the fucking text that dude sent Jared. That's how you respond to Jared Fogle when he texts you.
Jesus Christ. That was one hell of a back and forth.
We're footlong bros, Rob. No,
It's so bad.
we were never footlong bros.
Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that that's a parody website, though. I don't think that's real.
It's come up in more than one place.
Okay,
Wow.
maybe not.
That's just the best picture I could find of it.
Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was creepy like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
not at all.
he's creepy in the being a pedophile way. It wouldn't surprise me if his first reaction to being fired at the same time as this guy was, "This guy'll be my friend."
Right?
Yeah, he's got to be feeling. Jared's got to be feeling really lonely right about now, or at least wherever this text was sent.
Yeah.
No one's on your side, bro.
Well,
Pedo
Subway
bros.
was.
So this reporter that recorded him for 4 years, I mean, I've heard a recording. Do we have a way to play that stuff now, Schmeckle, where we can actually hear it? Because if we can play that,
Unfortunately not. We won't be able to do that until I get my new computer.
Okay. Well, there's recordings of Jared and this reporter. There was actually a big Dr. Phil episode where they aired a bunch of the recordings. And I mean, there's parts of the recordings where Jared is asking to put a camera in this chick's daughter's bedroom, asking her to prep girls to meet him and shit, or prep kids to meet him. I guess he doesn't give a fuck if it's a boy or a girl. In fact, I think he prefers little boys.
There was even a bit on the Dr. Phil clip that they played. He was actually explaining to this chick like which ones were the most vulnerable, the easiest targets, like shit like that. He went deep.
Mm-hmm. Explain like what to say to her. Start by being nice, then being a little touchy-feely, then a little more touchy-feely. Like, it's fucked up, dude.
And of course, he's not saying it in a regular voice. He's coming in like, so you gotta just kind of, you know,
Just
make friends with them. Be really nice, and then when you get a chance, just get a little touchy-feely. It's creepy shit.
Oh, you just made me fucking shiver, Schmeckle.
Like this motherfucker, she had gained his trust to the point where he was explaining to her basically how to pick children up for him.
Yeah.
And then, I believe the term you guys used was American hero. She took these calls and went, FBI, look at this.
Yeah.
And what was the FBI's reaction to that, Mark?
Well, no, to their credit, they did everything they could within the law.
Yeah.
But after this, they finally had enough to go forward and like raid his place.
So after the foundation got investigated, the guy who ran the foundation got busted for child porn, and on his computer showed emails of child porn sent from him to Jared. So that was their link. So that's when they got to raid his house and check his computer and shit. Was after that guy got arrested, they found emails of child porn going from him to Jared.
So they raid Jared's place, and what did they find on his computer?
Wasn't it like the most child porn found to date on anybody's computer that's been caught with child porn?
From what I understand, it was tens of thousands of photos and hundreds of thousands of hours of video.
Jesus Christ. I mean, at that point, like, I don't have that much normal porn. You know? I don't even have that much old lady porn.
Yeah.
At the point where you have that much, he fucking made being a pedophile his full-time job.
Got it. Oh.
Jesus.
And
like,
what's really fucked up is here's what he's charged with. He's charged with 2 counts: one of distribution and receipt of child pornography, and one of traveling to engage in illicit sexual conduct with a minor, meaning that he's paying for sex.
And well, he went to like Vegas and shit to go hook up with a minor, according to
Right, but this is specifically from Indiana to New York City. This is the charges, either the only ones they could get to stick, or this is what they stuck with a plea deal. Because Jared got 15 years minimum in jail, right? But that, like, to get that 15 years, I'm sure the FBI had to throw out some sort of, you know, more charges and shit to get him to say I'm guilty of it. Otherwise, it goes to trial, and in a fucking country when OJ can get off, who the fuck knows what's going to happen with Jared?
Well, to be fair, Jared's no OJ.
Clearly.
OJ was fucking.
OJ only committed
At
murder.
one point.
Right?
Exactly. All he did was murder. He wasn't a pedophile.
All he did was murder a white woman and a white guy. It's like it's not like
Wait, how long is OJ in jail? Or is he in jail?
He is in jail currently.
Yeah, he's in jail, but not for the murder.
Not for, this is for like
embezzlement.
Yeah, and like he was breaking into like people. Wasn't he breaking into?
He was breaking into casinos to steal like his own shit.
And shit. He was breaking into places to steal his own shit.
That doesn't sound like the workings of a sane man. That's for sure. All right, I didn't know that part.
He killed 2 people.
Obviously not.
Yeah, it's like there's your first red flag there, Semaj.
Well, first of all, I actually didn't pay attention to the OJ thing. I really didn't care. So.
No, he was guilty as fuck.
Oh, okay.
So extremely guilty. We did an episode on it.
Oh, I must have missed that one.
He wrote a book called "If I Did It,"
Yeah.
In which he explains how he would have done it.
He would have done if he did. Yeah.
That's not a smart thing to do.
Oh, and a bunch of the jurists on a bunch of the people on the jury were interviewed after the trial and said they pled not guilty just because it was like a black guy and they wanted to stick it to the white man. You know what I mean? Like there were a few people on the jury like that.
Really?
Yeah.
A bunch of race baiters?
Yeah, pretty much. There's video, like, you know, they're all interviewed on TV after the trial and shit like that.
Well, you know, the defense, when they picked a jury, is doing everything they can to pick someone like that.
Well, yeah, you want the guy who's gonna, sit there and go, fuck it, you know what? I hate cops, so he's not guilty.
Exactly. This was like, this happened, you know, after, like, Rodney King and shit, everybody, you know, black community wanted to win.
Instead, they got OJ.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to things worse than OJ. Jared very easily, I guess, could have ended up getting off if something similar had happened. But I don't think so. I don't think you can really stalk a jury with pedophiles. What's he trying to claim now, Mark?
Well, let me tell you his sentence and stuff first, because then we'll get to what's going on with him nowadays. Because he agreed to pay a total of $1.4 million in restitution, $100,000 for each of his victims. And those are just the 14 victims that they had evidence for. You know. He faced up to.
Wait. So they have evidence for 14 actual victims.
Yes.
Now, would those be like children he fucked or identified children from the pictures?
It just says victims, 100,000 to each victim.
Oh, okay.
So he could have faced up to 50 years in prison had he gone to trial. However, as part of the plea deal, which was not binding on the sentencing judge, prosecutors agreed to seek no more than 12 and a half years. So prosecutors sought 12 and a half years. Jared asked for 5 years.
Oh,
Why should he have more than 5 years? All he did was have the most child porn ever. Slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Fogle. Well, it says Fogle agreed. Okay, so he had a 5-year minimum and a 12.5-year maximum. So that's what he agreed to. He wanted 5 years. The prosecution wanted 12.5 years. So he agreed to a plea deal of minimum 5 years in jail, maximum 12.5 years in jail. Soon after the plea deal was announced, Subway announced via Twitter that it had completely severed ties with Fogle. And I actually have those tweets with me. If you look at our text there and do what I say, Schmeckle, in our little private text chat, you can find those tweets.
what?
So they announced ties with him, and let's see, where was I? I switched pages.
Switch those pages.
Okay. Okay. So part of the plea deal was that he could have supervised visits with his own children, but only with the approval of their mother, Miss McLaughlin, who obviously denied approval of him having supervised visits with the kids. He had made a request to visit his children, but she denied it. And then upon release from prison, Fogle will be required to register as a sex offender for the remainder of his life and undergo treatment for sexual disorders. While he was in court, they brought in this guy, John Bradford, who's a forensic psychiatrist who testified for Jared Fogle for the defense. He claimed Fogle had suffered from a compulsive eating disorder for several years before losing weight and replaced food with a sense of hypersexuality, which included mild or weak pedophilia.
14 victims
was not accepted by experts in the psychiatry field and was criticized by Pratt and on social media. Pratt is the judge, and I love this fucking judge.
Fucking victims.
I love this judge, by the way. Let's see. So, despite him signing a plea deal for a minimum of 5 years and a maximum of 12.5, Pratt sentenced him to a minimum of 15 years, 8 months in prison. More than 3 years of what prosecutors have sought and 3 times what Fogle wanted. She's quoted, "The level of perversion and lawlessness exhibited by Mr. Fogle is extreme," Pratt said. Fogle must serve a minimum of 13 years before becoming eligible for time off with good behavior. So, now his minimum is 13 years and his maximum is 15 years, 8 months. So that's why I love this judge. He signed a plea deal for a 5-year minimum, and she goes, "Nope, 13-year minimum."
Yeah, it sounds about
good on
right.
the judge. Even though
go ahead.
The laws and stuff, but I would hope that, like, fuck, is 13 years really the minimum? You can't even get a year for each victim?
Yeah,
right.
You'd think you'd get at least a year for each.
Well, maybe that was her thinking with 13 minimum.
Like, personally, I'm in favor of, with crimes like that, just stacking the fucking sentences.
Oh, yeah. I would have just done 13 years for each victim.
I think it was probably that was probably the most that she could do. I'm assuming that she judged because
for a minimum.
Well,
the maximum minimum.
No, well, I mean, when you have you get like a plea deal or something like that, you pretty much have to honor parts of that deal. I'm assuming. I'm not a lawyer or anything. I don't know this, so I assume that was pretty much the most that she could give. She probably would have gone for the maximum if she could.
Yeah, she probably did do the maximum.
Yeah, so I think she just did everything she had to.
Yeah. So fucking at least that judge kicks ass, and not only like increased his jail time, after his sentence, he will be on supervised release for the rest of his life. So he's going to be on probation for the rest of his life.
Fuck yeah.
One slip up, he's
to
going
be
straight back
fair,
to jail.
the supervised release, that's probably more for his protection than anything else. He was a very high-profile pedophile.
Yeah.
Who's going to protect his ass?
The cops
The
who are
cops.
forced to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ones who
they-
want to
they're
make
gonna-
the
Yeah, but
paycheck.
I mean, they're there to protect him. But how alert?
How hard are they going to
Yeah.
try?
It's like,
Sorry,
much
man,
effort
I don't know what happened.
well,
They
we're
hit me.
escorting Mr. Fogle to his vehicle. I do sure hope nobody takes a shot at him while we do that.
But also find him. He had to pay that 1.4 million, but she also fined him an extra 175,000 and ordered him to forfeit another 50,000 in assets. So hit him with another $250,000 in fines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They filed an appeal in December. Fogle is able to appeal the sentence since it is longer than the maximum sentence recommended by the prosecutors. So that's good.
I heard that judge smacked down that appeal.
Oh yeah, she did in a big way. So that kind of leads us into the current status of what's going on with Jared Fogle.
Okay.
I'm very curious to know what's in the mind of those prosecutors or of the defense, Jared's defense attorneys. I mean,
Money.
I'll tell you, it's
If
called
they win
money.
a lot of money.
I know, but are they sickened with themselves at all?
They're
I'm
lawyers.
sure they are.
They're lawyers. Of course they're not.
They're well trained to be more money hungry than I am. I mean, in their eyes, guaranteed, this was their fucking chance to be Johnny Cochran. Yeah, this was their fucking OJ.
Fucking despicable.
It is. It's disgusting.
So we have some new developments with Jared Fogle. So after his appeal, Jared Fogle signed a piece of paper saying he would no longer contest the ruling. But just in February of this year, Jared Fogle filed a complaint saying that the trying to get the judge that sentenced him dismissed. I think specifically because of the ruling, he can get his charges changed if he gets the judge dismissed. Like a new judge will come in and make a new judgment. So he filed a complaint, and Schmeckle, you want to tell him the reason why she is biased against him?
She has 2 daughters.
Wait,
She has 2 teenage daughters.
wait. The judge is biased against pedos because the
Because she
judge
has
has kids.
Yeah. That's what
As
he's
if
going
somebody
for.
without kids is going to be much more sympathetic to him.
That is exactly what I said.
I don't think that it would go that way, Jared.
Right.
I mean, I understand, like, in a lot of ways, he's
My brain is melting.
Well, technically, he is fighting for his life because in
But
jail.
he's fighting for a life that he doesn't deserve to have at this point.
Yeah,
Stephen
exactly.
Nig, you didn't do it well enough.
He should be executed 14 fucking times, once for each victim.
I understand
Possible.
Look, I understand the urge to kill him and all that. The only problem I have is, like, you know, if they actually do it, then the guy who kills him is probably going to serve more time in jail.
So you get a fucking lifer to do it.
Yeah, see, there you go. So I don't know if the guy, what was his name again, Stephen Nig? I don't know if he was on a life trial or a life sentence. If he was, then have at it, Hoss. Go for it.
Just got beat up by a nig in prison, dude. That's something. I can say that without being racist at all.
So you think? Fucking racist.
Ah, he's Chinese. It's fine.
Wait, was he?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
It could be. Nig sounds like could be a Chinese name.
But according to Nig's brother, according to this guy Nig had a brother, all right? And according to him, when Nig beat him up, so he goes up to Jared. Apparently, the guards didn't do a fucking thing. He goes up to Jared, shoves him on the ground, jumps on top of him, and just starts bashing him in his face with his fist and his elbow. He broke Jared's nose, bloodied his lips, and I guess he was massive swelling in the face. So just beat the shit out of him.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea who this Stephen Nig guy is. Like, he might be a terrible person. He is in prison.
Trump should have communicated.
He had a good thing.
It's the first good thing I've heard of Nig doing in a long time.
You were just digging that hole for yourself, man. You wasn't just skirting around the
This guy is in prison. He obviously has a checkered past. This is the first laudable thing the man has done in a while.
Look, I'm just saying, you're skirting the line using the N-word there, man. You're getting close to it. First thing a nigga ever did good. Won't want to get in trouble for this, man.
Dude, it's not my fault his last name is Nig. I cannot help it if the man is referred to as Nig. That is not my fault. I just want to be accurate in my retelling of events here.
Yeah, Mark's not going to call him Steven. It's not like they're close friends.
Yeah. I can call him Mr. Nig if that's better for you.
That's so much better. Do it.
Just partially better, but yeah, go for it. Go for it, man.
Maybe he has a medical degree. Maybe he's Dr. Nig.
Don't let your means be dreams. Go for it, man. Go for
it. Anyways, go Nig. All right. So, in the meantime, in 2016, a couple years ago, his wife, or his ex-wife, Kathleen McLaughlin, his wife at the time of the arrest. By the way, she said she didn't know a thing about it, and how she found out about it with the FBI knocking on her door.
If he had that much fucking child porn, like I said, he was making that shit his fucking career.
Well, wait a second. You think the wife knew that her husband had a ton of child porn on his computer?
Oh, I think she was probably in on it.
I think she was willfully ignorant of the situation. She had seen signs and ignored them.
I don't think. I mean, fuck. You'd think half the same person would. Yeah, I think if she had any, she would have divorced him then and there. Like that's like. Can you imagine the horror of finding child porn on like your spouse's computer?
Right.
Like I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
See, I would, if it weren't for the little thing about her suing Subway.
Well, here's why she's suing Subway is because that reporter chick that recorded him for 4 years, that gave the evidence to Subway and they denied receiving said evidence. She's suing him because she's like, Subway, you knew about this. You were given evidence of what Jared was doing and you did nothing and you told nobody. And so that's why she sued him. And,
yeah, but what are her grounds for suing then? Yeah, it would be because she'd have to be able to prove some damages to her that weren't her own fucking fault.
Right. But I also think, I mean, you have to think that if you have kids with somebody, that if you find out they're a pedophile, you keep those kids away from them.
Yeah, you would think, right? You would hope.
And also, here's another thing. Right? Jared, being a celebrity, is in the public eye. And someone with a secret like that, most of the time, unless they're like fucking, what's his goddamn name? Most of the time, they go to extremely great lengths to hide it from the people around them.
Well, yeah, you would think so. They're doing an awful thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe there were signs that she
There
ignored,
have to
but
have
I
been
don't think
signs,
she
dude.
knew he was a pedophile.
Like, what were those fucking numbers again on the pictures and the videos?
Tens of thousands of pictures, and I'm not sure if I have this right, but the thousands of hours of video, at least. I'm not sure if it's in the hundreds of thousands, if I'm remembering that correct.
Like, I mean, there had to have been fucking signs. Like, his computer, either seeing something on it or his blatant unwillingness to have you on it. Like, she had to have known. Like, maybe she was being willfully ignorant. But I mean, there's no way it wasn't all laid out for her to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe he didn't have the computer out in the open. Maybe he had like something that he would keep in his bomb cabinet underneath something or other. Maybe he has. Look, he's really wealthy. He made a lot of money.
I guess they probably did have a fairly large house.
Yeah. So for all we know, maybe he had a secret passage.
Oh God, what else would have been down there?
Oh, who knows? Who knows?
You know, maybe it's not fair to blame the wife, but I don't feel that bad for the wife, considering she should have been able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if she did, like, you just don't know how good he is. But I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt. But when you also think that some random news reporter found out about him and befriended him and got him to talk about this shit,
Exactly.
and his wife
Even
didn't
worse,
know.
he found out about it because he was open enough about it that he made fucking comments in front of people.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to give her the benefit of the doubt.
And Fading Dark says not all wives go through their husband's electronics. No, but I mean, it can't be all that uncommon in a marriage for someone to say, "Oh, yo, can I send an email on your computer?"
Right, but you know, if I have child porn on my computer, it's going to be in a fucking password protected something.
Yeah, that's true.
And he could.
I have stuff that's not child porn on.
Oh wait, no, because the cops caught him just through fucking emails.
Well, they got evidence of emails from a different computer they'd already seized.
Right. Yeah, I guess they were able to dig deep.
So and they were already suspicious of him. Not suspicious. They already had a lot of evidence, just not enough to convict him. Before that, they were already trying to get him for it. And then they get this link, and that gives them what they need to fucking raid his house and get his computers and phones and shit.
I mean, at least that other guy fucked up and got caught, right?
Right. Well, it's
I mean,
like he started this foundation and then never spent any money. They spent $73,000 a year, and most of that was for the salary of the guy who was running it. I have no idea what the rest of it was sent on, but that's why it was being investigated. They had apparently there's a for nonprofit charities and shit to be legit. There's a $5 yearly fee that you have to pay to some group, and they had the reason they got investigated was because they hadn't paid the $5 fee for 2 years in a row. That's how dumb it is.
That's good shit.
Like, they didn't pay the fee to remain a charitable organization. That's why they started getting investigated.
bureaucracy caught the pedophiles.
Yep, bureaucracy caught the pedophile.
Jesus fucking Christ. I never thought I'd say thank you to bureaucracy.
To red tape.
See, I'm so fucking flustered about the thought of it, I can't even get it out.
Right.
Bureaucracy. Fucking Christ.
But yeah, I mean, you can password protect files and fucking all sorts of shit. Not just I mean, I would assume that if they share a computer, they have different accounts, you know? Like when you start up the computer, it's like like when you have multiple Netflix profiles.
Oh yeah, I forgot computers do that.
You know what I'm saying? So he probably has his own, and it probably has a password to get in. And
he probably had his own laptop too.
Yeah, and there would never, ever, I don't think there would ever be a reason for her to need to get onto his profile. She has access to the computer, you know, why would she ever need to ask his password or even, you know, and especially if he's hiding that shit, the moment she did ask, he'd, like, you know, do something about all his files and shit.
And that's the thing, like, I just think at some point it would have come out for, like, say I'm sitting in the fucking kitchen. I got my laptop. The missus doesn't have hers, right? And she realizes she needs to send an email. She'll go, "Hey, Schmeckle, can I borrow your laptop?" And I'll hand her my laptop. And she'll go and she'll send her email, right?
Yeah.
I can't see that being something that wouldn't have come up during years of marriage.
It could just be he was using what he would call his work laptop.
Yeah, you can't use my work laptop.
It's very important. You can use my personal one, but you can't use my work one, and then it's the work one that has all the shit. And even then, he could have multiple laptops. Like maybe he bought two of the exact same, and the one it legit is his work one, and the other one could be his, you know, his kitty diddling one.
Yeah, you could have multiple laptops, a fucking hidden drive, something like that.
I mean, there's no reason why we can't assume he was like super paranoid and probably has like multiple things and multiple passwords and emails.
Well, apparently he was getting emailed child porn. So, I mean, doesn't matter what laptop you access that from.
Yeah, like that's going through the internet. That's going through people's, like, other people's servers and stuff. He can't be in all that secretive.
Right, but if it's in an email, it's not tied directly to the computer. It's just tied to the email account.
Yeah, and
downloading those emails onto his computer, onto a specific computer, then that computer could be evidence. But otherwise, it's just, you know, in Gmail.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could go and make Jared Fogle at gmail.com right now if I wanted.
Right.
I mean, it's probably taken. But I understand what you're saying. I can't see there not being some sign. Especially not, like, it being your spouse, somebody that you're traditionally close with.
Yeah.
Then again, as far as I know, the missus ain't a pedophile. So if it comes out like next week that she's a pedophile, I'm gonna look real dumb.
The real dumber than usual.
Real dumber than usual.
What was I doing next? Okay. Excuse me, I have to burp. No, what am I? Okay. That's so now we get to the recent stuff this year. So last February,
Back in the news.
Back to the recent stuff. Last February, he filed that complaint trying to get the judge dismissed, saying she's biased because she has 2 teenage daughters.
Ridiculous.
And then in April of this year, this is the best thing ever. The dude has pulled a fucking Maddox. Semaj.
Okay.
This guy, dude, Jared Fogle has pulled a fucking Maddox.
What do you do?
He's gone full Maddox.
What?
He has filed a lawsuit against the feds with no lawyer. He has fired his lawyer and is representing himself. He has filed a lawsuit against the federal government, against the FBI, for $57 million in rambling, barely nonsensical, like having like 20-something pages in this thing he filed. He has joined with 2 other people who are in the prison, and that have nothing to do with pedophilia. Like, these two guys are in there for, like, insurance fraud or some shit. Like, fucking mail fraud and shit like that. And so what they're saying is because there is a conspiracy charge on their sentences, that it has nothing to do with the crimes that they committed, and that he says he never would have pleaded guilty if that conspiracy charge wasn't on his list of crimes. And so his sentencing is not valid because he was coerced into pleading guilty by having a charge against him that didn't apply.
I don't get how that's coercion. I'm missing the part where that charge didn't apply. Is you coerced me into admitting my guilt.
Yeah, he's saying that
and it was conspiracy. He was fucking. Charges. He was doing it with his foundation director, right?
With his foundation director, he was trying to get that one woman to find kids for him. There was definitely a conspiracy aspect there.
Yep. And it's like, just because, conspiracy doesn't take away all the fucking 14 victims. Goddamn.
No, 14 named victims.
Named victims. Minimum victims.
If he had tens of thousands of pictures, I'm going to assume those were probably more than 14 kids.
Oh my God, I see a Washington Post news article talking about this with the word sovereign citizen in quotes.
So for fuck's sake, no. Really?
Let's see what it says. Okay. This is from the Washington Post. Former Subway pitchman Jared Fogle has tried to argue that he's a sovereign citizen, claiming a federal court that convicted him on child pornography and sexual conduct involving minors did not have the authority to do it. Fogle fired. This is in November 14th, 2017, so little less than a year ago. Fogle filed a motion on his own earlier this month. Oh, yes, by the way, once again, he's doing this all by himself. He doesn't have a lawyer anymore.
If he's going the sovereign
representing himself.
If he's going the sovereign citizen route, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Will someone tag Cogs in this shit right now, please? Fucking
yeah, Jimmy, do your thing. Get a message out to Cogs.
Fogle filed a motion on his own earlier this month in U.S. District Court in Indiana, saying he wanted to correct an error regarding subject matter jurisdiction in the case. His defense? That he is a sovereign citizen, a group the FBI calls a domestic terrorist movement, believing federal, state, and local governments operate illegally. In his motion, Fogle pointed to a friend of the court brief that was previously filed by a fellow inmate in the same prison, stating, whether a judicial judgment is lawful depends on whether the sovereign has authority to render it. This dude is trying everything he can. Fogle's argument was thrown out. No shit. This is brand new to me. Oh. I cannot believe he did the sovereign citizen thing. That's new to me.
Well, he was in prison for a long time, so, I mean, he's not quite thinking straight. Also, probably all those hits to the head. He's probably got what Muhammad Ali had or something. He's got a little too many, little punch drunk.
Oh my God.
I can't believe he's a sovereign citizen. He said he's a sovereign citizen. I have got to fucking tweet that. Not right now, obviously, but that's crazy. So that's
what you do when you got nothing else to reach to. You claim I don't recognize your authority.
Well, he did the sovereign citizen thing. It looks like he's trying everything he can to overturn this. He tried the sovereign citizen thing, and that was November 2017. In February of 2018, he tried to get the judge dismissed by saying she's biased because she has daughters.
Hey, quick question. What?
It sounds like he really wants to be out of prison. And Jared, if you ever hear this, suicide will get you out real quick.
Real quick, buddy. That's
So fast.
so much easier than dealing with all this bureaucracy, buddy.
It'll be the best decision you've made in 10 years.
Right? You'll stop getting your ass kicked in prison by fucking nigs.
Exactly. What is Cog's Twitter handle? I can't find it.
I have no fucking clue. It changes every week.
Well, then what the hell is the point?
It's
it's
The Cognificent, I think.
The Cognificent, eh?
He started with an A there, so I'm kind of worried.
Yeah, someone else is gonna do it. It's not coming up on, not for me. Anyway,
so he's a sovereign citizen. He's been unfairly judged because the judge had kids. He's been coerced because they included the word conspiracy in his charges.
Okay.
Anything else? I mean,
so
of course there's more.
Well, during the Jared Foundation, they had the Russell Taylor, who was the executive, who was busted first, had a camera hidden in a clock radio in dressing rooms that the kids were in. So that's where a lot of the videos came from of naked kids on Jared's computer. Was this guy forwarding these videos to Jared of kids undressing?
Okay, so he was like in touch with the guy creating the fucking videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, the conspiracy charge fits.
Yeah, absolutely. And these were kids involved in his goddamn foundation. You set up a foundation to fucking get video of naked kids. Like, you pretty much set up a foundation for that sole purpose.
Yeah, actually, they didn't do shit with the foundation, never spent any money, and the guy in charge was a friend of Jared's who was into child porn.
Yeah.
He probably did set it up for that sole purpose. That is a pretty
big fucking conspiracy. That is like a legit... Like, I don't know what you could call conspiracy other than setting up an entire organization.
The sole purpose to commit crime. Baddie children.
Yeah, those kids are probably already feeling down about themselves already because they're all overweight and everything. So,
right?
Yeah,
those are the more vulnerable targets he was talking about.
Yeah, it sounds to be that way.
This is one of the worst shows we've done yet. I hate this guy.
I know, dude. I was just kind of laughed at him earlier, but this guy is the biggest fucking creep.
He's worse than fuck. Who was the last pedophile we did? The one who got arrested on his birthday.
On his birthday, Jesus Christ.
Martus Flavius or whatever.
Oh no, fuck, not him. Well, we could do a full show on him.
Right, that's Cringe of Current Dead, not Yesteryear.
Yeah, you know the one I mean. It was a cringe episode. He was on To Catch a Predator on his birthday. It was the one we made Opal read.
Yeah, that's the one I was out of town for. So Robert filled in for me on that one.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. Opal nailed it on that episode.
Oh yeah, she plays a very good child victim. But Jared's way worse than that guy. At least that guy, he was like a couple kids he tried to hit up. Jared, again, built the fucking company to rape kids.
I mean, it's literally, that's what he did. And then you also hear stuff, just his ideas to the company on how to get kids more involved and how to target kids more.
Number one, more hugs.
Be friendly and then get your hugging on, baby.
This is so good. I found a tweet. It says, "Who started off as the hero and lived long enough to become a villain?" And the response is Jared Fogle. From dealing with a mild cholesterol problem to dealing with a child molesterol problem.
I guess there can't even be funny child porn jokes.
He's right.
They're rare, but they're out there. So I'm reading about a story that in 2016, one of the victim's parents sued Jared Fogle, and then also the foundation director and the foundation director's wife for $150,000 for harm arousing from their daughter being secretly taped in the Taylor's home in videos and then given to Fogle. So apparently video recordings went on in Homeboy's house too. Jared Fogle filed a countersuit against them, claiming that it was them, not him, who inflicted damage on the child because they were the parents are now divorced and they were maintaining a hateful and abusive relationship toward each other, including fighting, arguing, and getting drunk, which caused Jane Doe, which is the daughter, to suffer from emotional distress, anxiety, and major depression.
Yeah, sure.
In other words,
Jared filmed your kids naked, but you got divorced. So
who's the real criminal here? Yeah, that makes total sense.
I have a news story here that says apparently about 4 days before Jared's house got raided by the FBI, Madame Tussauds, am I pronouncing that right? It's a world famous wax museum. They put up about 15 new statues of Jared that week.
Oh, that's
sorry. Did I say 15? I meant 35.
What was it? His progression from fat to skinny?
We apologize for our 35 statues of Jared Fogle. We failed to see recent news regarding his personal life when creating them.
Did they get in trouble for that? They shouldn't have. They didn't know. That sucks.
They should have known.
Oh God, Schmeckle, you have to see this picture.
They should donate. They should have donated those wax statues to charity to for people to destroy and like burn and hang and stab and chop. It'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Schmeckle, you have to see this fucking picture I just showed.
Screen share it, man. Do something.
I can't. I'm using a different computer than my mic is on. It's the only way I can sound okay. Trust me, I can try other things, but I can't. I'm not using the computer that you're hearing me on.
Well, that computer, the screen share is just a button, man. And
I know, but okay.
It's a hard button for him to figure out, Jimmy. Don't worry, I got this.
I'm computer illiterate. That was my fucking proviso when I joined this goddamn stream.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh my God. If I didn't know this was wax things, I would have thought it was photoshopped. Oh,
Jesus Christ.
35 wax statues of Jared Fogle.
Mark, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I say 11? I meant 30-fucking-5.
What did they do with them?
Oh, it's so horrible.
Oh, what
a fucking nightmare come to life.
I'm assuming that they were going to send these all out to different wax museums or something.
The one in the middle here kind of looks like he's uncomfortable around the rest of them.
He came out last, which means he's the youngest. So they're all looking at him.
Well, this wax museum, Madame Tussauds or whatever, they have like over a dozen locations. Like they have locations all across the world. They have some in China and shit, and Europe, and
it's the chat.
World famous wax museum.
In the chat, Thurge, they were saying we need to kill them with fire.
Yeah.
I will admit that is an excellent fucking wax statue.
Yeah, they're very Very realistic.
Yeah.
He got his pedo shirt open at the collar and everything.
The hands are floating near the crotch.
The awkward Asperger's placement of the hands.
His pedo smile, just in that little beady pedo eyes.
If anything, I will say, like, to the museum that commissioned to make these, they did an excellent job. Looks great. It's a shame that they had to do this.
Now burn them all.
Next time, a small amount of advice. Before you make 35 wax figures of somebody, just Google their name. Just type it into Google first. You shouldn't be coming out after making 35 fucking statues of the guy saying, we didn't look into his recent personal life.
Or could it be that they did know and they were going to secretly destroy them, but someone found out and just decided to post them and like, oh shit, now we have to apologize. It seems to me like maybe if it was in the news, maybe they did know, but some asshole decided to post it out anyway. It's like, guys, I mean, we just deposited the check, okay? We didn't do any of the research because we just need the money. It's Subway. Why would we think anything bad?
Yeah, I mean, true. Back then, when you thought Subway, you didn't think pedophile.
No, you thought that it was all good, healthy food because it's doctor recommended. They did pretty good for themselves for a while.
Right.
God, get that off my screen, please.
Well, now I'm going into let's make fun of Jared mode because
make it go away.
I'm sharing some gold here.
I don't know. South Park, yeah, they sort of mined all that gold. They had some really epic jabs at the guy.
Oh, fucking the new South Park game. Jared was one of the bosses later on in the game that you had to fight.
Of course he is. You get to play the kids of South Park. Of course he's a boss.
Yeah, it was a lot rapier than his last appearance on South Park.
Yeah. I haven't played the game yet, but boy do I want to.
It's really good.
Yeah, so was the Stick of Destiny. Anyway, we're not here to talk about games.
Right.
But you know what? The best part about that statue thing is that they continued on with the exhibit, and it was on display. They were on display till January 16th, through January 2016. Sorry.
So they kept the wax museums up?
Yeah, they kept it. They kept it up.
Oh shit!
They did not cancel the exhibit. They just apologized for it.
Well, that doesn't sound like the right way to go.
Did they at least give you like a basket of rotten fruit that you can throw out?
That's what I'm hoping. Like turn it into a fucking interactive exhibit where you can take a chainsaw to Jared's throat.
First 35 customers in get to cut Jared off.
Yes. I'm gonna smash him in the face with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
See, and that's why what Stephen Nigg did was so good. I mean, he did what everyone was thinking.
Real man of genius.
I hope it doesn't come out like. I'm gonna look up Stephen Nigg.
Knocking out Jared Fogle.
I really hope Stephen Nigg isn't like also a pedophile or something. They're gonna make this.
I hope he's in there for some just plain old violent assault or something. That's not a joke. I really hope he's only in there for assault and not pedophilia.
Well, apparently after this, he received a whole lot of fan mail.
I imagine so.
Jared Fogle's prison attacker. I beat his ass because pedophiles made him a god.
Oh yeah. By the way, when he was in trial, the judge got hundreds of letters from convicted felons serving time, saying to not go lenient on Jared Fogle. Prisoners, convicted felons, wrote letters saying how much they wanted to see Jared Fogle in prison.
That's yeah.
The dude was hated.
Apparently not so much in prison. This guy says he beat him up because he was treated like royalty by fellow child molesters in prison. Jared is their hero. You would not believe how arrogant Jared was. He hired bodyguards, and the other child molesters looked at him as if he was a god. That changed, briefly at least, when Nig left Fogle with a bloody nose, swollen face, and scratches on his neck. Unfortunately, they did move Nig to a different prison, so he doesn't have a second chance.
Right.
You want to hear the list of stuff they seized to search when they raided his home?
Yes.
No, they had to move him because he made it clear that he'd do it again if he got a chance.
What a pimp. And he spent months in the hole, lost his email and commissary privileges. And he lost good behavior off his sentence.
So we got a couple heroes in the story, people who sacrifice for the greater good.
He says he has no regrets. What a fucking hero.
Yeah, that's Pim. Okay, so they seized 16 smartphones, 5 basic cell phones. Who the fuck has 16 smartphones and 5 basic cell phones?
Burner phones, I guess.
Like
Phones
by basic cell phones, I would assume flip phones.
Yeah.
I would assume they mean flip phones.
Yeah, probably. I mean, those are probably phones you can just sort of throw away fairly easily.
Yeah. 5 MP3 players, 5 tablets, 6 laptops, 1 desktop, 6 hard drives, 5 cameras, 10 flash drives, 10 memory cards, 46 CDs, and 22 DVDs.
Jesus.
How much
All
of
right,
can you fit in that shit?
Stephen Nig was sentenced to 15 years for selling part of his late father's estate and possessions.
So his dad died and he sold his shit without permission?
I'm looking at a fund to raise money for him. So it says that he was set up by his stepmother, but yeah, that's what he was charged with.
15 years seems a little bit long to sell a dead dude's
This
stuff.
sounds pretty fucking steep, especially since the pedophile got 13.
Right. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm pissed. I want to get that dude out of jail. Where's his fucking GoFundMe?
Okay, there's a little more here. His stepmother Joyce arranged for 2 undercover police officers to arrest Steve for possession of firearms by a felon and made false reports to the ATF that Steve was selling machine guns. Joyce was aware that Steve inherited the guns and that he was not legally allowed to possess them. If Steve were to be convicted of a crime, it would give her control of the estate and a larger share of Marvin Nig's possessions. The judge who sentenced him to 15 years went on record as saying he didn't agree with the sentence but had to follow the letter of the law. It was later discovered that Joyce had sold the machine guns herself, but by then Steve had already been sentenced.
What? So that dude totally got fucked.
Yep, that dude who beat up like the world's biggest child porn guy. He's also possibly not guilty of the fairly minor crimes he's accused of.
Jesus Christ.
And knowing our justice system, that's pretty reasonable to assume.
I just find it ridiculous that he got more time than the fucking pedophile.
Yeah.
I found an article from The Onion that says prisoners wonder how Jared still eats 2 Subway sandwiches a day in prison. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, they're like, how does he stay on his diet here in prison? Man, dude, Jared is just what a creepy motherfucker. So Schmeckle, can you screen share any of those pictures that I shared?
Yeah, let's see.
Because I like these. It's time to make fun of this fucking asshole.
What happened?
What do you mean, what happened?
Well, I don't know. You said something about pictures and stuff like that. I assume there's more to the story.
Oh no, these are just I think Mark found some memes about the guy.
There's some good memes.
Oh, that tweet is so fucking bad. Oh, fuck that shit. Oh my god. Oh, it's so gross.
Hey, Schmeckle, what's
Make
a
it
prison
stop.
wallet?
I have no idea.
Tony Floggins wants you to explain what prison wallets are. Is that just...
If I had to guess, your asshole?
That's what I would guess, too.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd assume that's where the payment would come from, right?
I would assume so. The only reason I know that is actually from Deadpool 2 because they made jokes about it. And yes, it is your bumhole, your cornhole.
This would be such a good Quiznos ad, like in real life.
Look at that! Look at that caption there. It says, "Shots fired." Quiznos has hired Subway's Jared Fogle for a new ad campaign, claiming that Quiznos sandwiches cured his pedophilia. I'm only into adults now. TM.
Oh, that's so good. Like Subway made me thin, and Quiznos made me not a pedo.
Okay, what's this?
This is Jared Fogle.
This is the lawyer. That's his lawyer. Who
This
also
is
looks like
his real lawyer.
That's his real lawyer.
Jesus Christ.
He looks like a fucking pedo too.
Oh my god, if you look close enough at his forehead, you can kind of see the outline of Jared's face. Jared Fogle wants less time in prison. Court of Appeals hears arguments in Chicago. Fogle's attorney, sentence based on fantasies, not acts. What about all the fucking child porn, Ron?
14 known victims.
What about all the kids he was having sex with, Ron? Creepy fuck. Jesus Christ. And that's worse than Maddox's lawyer. At least Maddox's lawyer was just unclear about what he was saying. This guy's unclear about what happened.
There's a meme on here that I found that says, Jared Fogle began and ended his career trying to get into smaller pants. That's E-Bombs. Thank you, E-Bomb.
Oh, God.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to wrap it up on.
Right, that was good. We gotta end on a high note.
Jimmy, do the Jimmy thing.
Well, I arrived late, but we had Robert, we had Mark, we had Schmeckle, and we have me. Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
Put
guys.
some effort into that.
If you like what you
That
see
is-
here, you want to see more.
That
hit
is the
like
most
and subscribe
effort I've
button.
heard Semaj put into anything in the few years I've heard him speaking. So
See-
don't cut him some slack.
Well, you see, Schmeckle's been making the biggest mistake of having me do the outros when I should be doing the intros. But here I am.
Usually I make you do both.
You haven't made me do both in a long time.
No, we still got one more show tonight. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll see.
I might actually join that one too.
There you
Everybody
go.
come watch me. I'm awesome.
We'll be back in an hour with the Gun Stream. Tune in then. Fuck off.